Hey guys, so today I want to show you guys a workflow stack. That is a stack of layers that I often will employ when I start an edit, right? And I understand there's lots of different ways that people approach an edit, especially a portrait retouch, and I get that. But this is a stack that I kind of created because it helps me do, or it gives me the ability to do lots of things, not necessarily at once, not literally at once, but in one cohesive stack that makes sense for most situations. And since lately on this channel we've been talking color sciencey things, one of the core parts of the workflow stack is a chroma luma separation, right? And we talked about all kinds of different image decomposing, I should say, methods and all that. Now, this is an action that's inside an action set that we have Actions 12, chroma and luma split, all kinds of different tools in there. We have videos about it, but recently I got to talking to some folks and this came up and I thought, you know, it's been a minute since I talked about it. Let me show you guys what I mean. Now, quick background. A workflow stack is simply like what you might set up to do something. You might set up a couple of curves layers, for example, if you're going to do dodging and burn, right? We all know what frequency separation looks like if you set that up with the high layer, the low layer, potentially other layers, depending on how you set up frequency separation. And if you're not familiar with frequency separation, take a look on YouTube, take a look on our channel. We'll show you that too. But I created a layer stack that does everything. That is frequency separation, dodge and burn, and chroma luma split all at once. So I'm going to set it up and then I'm going to show you guys why it works the way it works. And then we'll do a quick little edit. Okay. So, it's called NBP frequency separation, dodge and burn, chroma luma median. Now you can see immediately above and below it, there are other options. And that's because there's a surface blur one. There's one that doesn't have dodge and burn, etc. These are options that come with Actions 12. Now let's go ahead and run it. All right, it's going to let you know you must start from a stamp layer or the background, in this case, right from the background. Only one real choice to make, and that's going to be the radius of the median. Now, yes, if you're familiar with NBP and you use FC3 and we have flexible radius that we can change on the fly, that's cool. But when I want total control like this, I'll start with something sort of general because I won't necessarily try to solve everything I need to solve. I'll get a nice general idea. So I'm going to put this on 8. Okay, because I can always flatten whatever I do here and then run FC3 if I need to later. Let's go ahead and let the layers finish and then let's walk you through this. So when we're done, the image of course has not been changed, but we have quite the stack over here. Let's kind of walk you through it. Let's close the actions out, kind of walk you through it. On the bottom, we have frequency separation. That's these 4 layers. But the key is that it's been done on only the luma data. Okay, because early on in the workflow stack in the action process, the chroma was split and put on top. In other words, we're just removing the color to effectively protect it. I've talked about this before because most of the work I'm going to do is going to be in black and white or only with luminosity because to be honest, most of the problems are going to exist there. Certainly not all, but most of them are going to exist there. And if I solve a lot of them using luma data first, fixing color is easy. So we hold down Alter Option, we can see the chroma data. There it is. Okay. And down here, we can't necessarily see the luma by itself because it's been split. It's been separated into high and low frequencies for us to then work. Dodge and burn is simply 2 curves layers sitting right on top. Pretty normal stuff, both sent to luminosity blending mode, though unnecessarily because we're working with luma, but no matter, it's there. And then, yes, on the chroma, technically we can modify the chroma directly on that layer, but I have a blank layer clipped down so we can, you know, paint on that if we need to fix color. Now, this is just a, you know, catch-all of the methods I like to use. In some cases, depending on what the fix involves, depending on what the procedure, entails, I may not be able to do it on this. I may need to do something separate from it, and that's fine. But this is a good start. So, for example, I'll turn off the chroma, not because I need to do the color separately necessarily. It's a way to protect the color. So no matter what I do, I can go about my business. Now, if I go to the high healing layer here, okay, yes, we're very successful with the remove tool, but I think I'm just going to go for the regular healing brush for this. Yep, spot healing. And we're just going to kind of remove some spots the classic way. I find that the remove tool for healing does better by itself on the full sort of RGB version of the image, as it were, not split in any way, okay? But just like regular frequency separation, like this mole right here, if I want to get rid of it, it also exists on the low layer. So that's something I'll probably have to dodge and burn away. But you notice I'm going in order, as it were. I'm going from the bottom up and just kind of trying to remove some of these things, seeing what works and what doesn't, getting an idea, whatever I can or cannot do. Okay, cool. And I don't have to commit to the process. I just leave it there, go to my dodge layer, get, a brush, not a huge one like this, 1% flow, nice soft white brush, and then I can try to address this mole if I wanted to, because I got rid of the high contrast bit, okay? And maybe some areas of the chin here, kind of change some of the contours a little bit so it's a little bit smoother. This is pretty common workflow stuff, at least in my world, but the point is I'm doing it separate, okay? Now, at any moment I can turn on the chroma and see what it's looking like. See, any moment at all, no matter what I'm up to, I can turn the chroma back on. And when you have issues in the chroma, that is a color problem you have to fix, it'll be really easy to fix once the Luma is done. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me try to just kind of use dodge and burn and some healing and get the skin here super polished the way I like to usually do it. Okay, I'm going to fast forward through this and then we're going to turn on the chroma and see what kind of issues may still exist and how fast we can fix them. So let me do some dodging and burning. Here we go. I'll pause for a second to also mention that on the frequency separation, I can choose a brush, maybe a 4 or 5%, and in the transitions layer in between high and low, I can do some transition painting and just kind of paint some Luma, only black and white. We're not worried about the color. We're just reshaping, right? So there's a little bit of painting and I can mask it out to make it more accurate. Very light though, because I do have dodging and burning on top of it, but I'm just changing some of the shaping, just a little bit there. Very cool. Okay, so that looked, it's very, very subtle, but it works really, really well. I'm going to change the opacity of that. Okay, let me do a little more dodging and burning, a little more polishing, and then we'll talk about this. Here we go. All right, so that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and turn on our chroma and see what we get. All right, as you can see, and it might be difficult to see, I'm not sure, but I did all the dodging and burning. We'll turn them off for a second. There it is, turn it back on. And we have some discoloration down here. Okay, a lot of times when you bring up a shadow with dodging and burning, you'll see a little discoloration right here on that mold or some pink. Okay, but here's the deal. If you turn off, let me just zoom in a little bit. If you turn off chroma, you'll see that the luminosity, the Luma data that I worked on is pretty smooth. I like it, right? If I turn on the chroma and it's not right, or seems a little off here and there, that's okay because half of it's fixed. So I could work directly on the chroma layer if I wanted to. I could also just flatten and move on and create another layer. But since it's here, I'm going to go ahead and work with it, right? So it's clipped down. So I'm going to go ahead and choose like maybe a 10% flow. And let's pick some tones. Now, when you're working with the chroma layer, because it's set to color blend mode, or even a blank layer set in color blend mode, you really want to pick a color somewhere in the mid-range, okay? If you choose a really dark color and paint with it, you'll end up getting gray. So what we need to try to do is choose like a mid-range. So there's a lot of pink on the chin, so I'm going to choose right about here and hopefully get a yellow tone, and it's working. Not worried about the perimeter. I can always mask that out. Nose is a little red, ear was a little red. We're fixing that, no big deal. Top of the lip. Okay, any other pink areas that I want more yellow? Cool, I have a mask on it already, so I can just quickly mask this out. And I could also use, if I did a lot of work, I could also use a subject mask or something like that if I really want to, subject selection. All right, so it's very subtle, but I changed the chin and some other areas which are pretty pink. I changed them to a little bit more yellow just to kind of make it a little more balanced. So the end result is there's the original and there's my polished look. As you can see, I did it all on one big stack, and at any moment I can come back and turn things off. I can see what it looks like without the dodge work. I can change the dodge work maybe and make it less opacity if I wanted it not as strong. I can still paint some more in on the transitions. Keep in mind, layer order is important. So if I decide suddenly I want to do a lot of pixel pushing and paint work on the transitions layer, the dodge and burn stuff above could be affected. So I have to just kind of compensate for that, or just go consciously in order, which is what I do. I'll start with the frequency separation almost exclusively, and then I'll dodge and burn, and then I'll change some color things if I need to. Now I just focus on her face, but obviously could do the rest of the image at any moment. But this layer stack gives you everything all separated in a beautiful, beautiful way. Now, at this point, you can click the top layer and stamp to a new layer, or you can flatten the whole thing and move on with your life, whatever it is you want to do. But the idea, let me just delete that. The idea of saying, hey, I want to manage frequency. There it is down here. I want to do some dodging and burning, which is going to be, for lack of a better term, managing low frequency imperfections in some manner. Because I approach the very first thing I do in a workflow like this when I use dodge and burn is skin correction, right? And other minor corrections as well. And again, we separate the chroma not because we need to directly modify it all the time. Sometimes we don't, but it's just to protect it, because you don't want to have, in my opinion, all that data muddling up my work. I want it off so I can make everything look perfect in black and white. Then I turn it back on, and if there's imperfections or color issues, they're very, very easy to fix. This is all like a balance of all different procedures that I might use independently, but I have to go with that idea in mind. Okay, this is like a catch-all, and it helps me get a lot done quickly. There might be some things, depending on your work, depending on your image, that you may want to do more detail. That's fine. Like I said, flatten to a new layer and then continue on with a rebuild or with something else that's a little bit more involved. But this is a great way, and it seems complicated, but once you understand it, which I forgot to mention one thing, actually mentioned that too. While you're dodging and burning, you can turn on this contrast boost, which can also be modified. You can increase the contrast if you want. This is good for being able to see your darks and lights a little bit easier, seeing your contrast a little bit easier while you're dodging and burning. Great method. It's just there as a visualization layer. Etc. I've been just debating whether or not I want to put like a solarization layer on here. Although you could run a solarization in the middle of this and just add it, add a curves layer and solarize if you want to. There's so many different choices. And of course, if you were to turn on the contrast boosting, you'll note that the color is not affected because the chroma data is on top. So even if you want to work dodging and burning while color is on, you're not going to have a false color because everything's separated. So it's just a smarter way to do kind of a little bit of everything at once. It gets me all the way there, or 95% of the way there, on an edit that I know I want to do manually. So I want to recommend that to you. Again, it is part of the Actions 12 pack, which does a lot of other chroma things, and we have videos on it. Now, the videos are a couple of years old now. It's such a great tool set that I use all the time, but it's kind of like the sleeper set. I use it tons, but I don't talk about it a whole lot. I'm not trying to hide it from anybody. It's just one of those things that just works so well, you don't even really notice it anymore. So check that out if you want. We have reduced the prices of these things, by the way. So if you want this whole collection, I promise you it's going to be super, super affordable. But if you have any questions on the entire process at all, from chroma luma splitting to any of this clipping down situation or dodging and burning or frequency separation, drop us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. But I want to demo that today because I did show someone it recently, and they were like, hey, I didn't even realize this was necessarily possible. Well, necessity is the mother of invention, and lazy is the uncle or something like that. Yeah, sometimes I just want to get stuff done quickly all at once so I don't get that retouching fatigue.